Well, so if you haven't heard, we are in the grips of a pandemic, but all things considered, the new year has brought some new hope. The COVID-19 case numbers seem to be dropping. The country is also set to begin its vaccine rollout next week, actually. Well, let's explore the impact of all of this. Michael Marillier has been keeping an eye on the numbers, his favorite thing to do, Michael. So, you know, things looked very bad in December, coming out of December, the first couple of weeks in January as well. But are we seeing things change? I mean, the numbers drastically dropping as well over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, you said the winds of change. They are certainly starting to blow, Yuveka. Of course, we hope that they continue to blow throughout the rest of the year. We're going to focus on a stat called bi-weekly change. So this looks at the number of cases in a country over a 2-week period, and then it compares it with another 2-week period just before that. So it's quite a nice way of looking at the numbers over an extended amount of time. Let's focus on that very quickly as we bring up our bi-weekly map. And we're going to look at a couple of countries here. First of all, the UK. Over the last 2 weeks, if we compare the 2 weeks before the 3rd of February compared with the 2 weeks before that, in the United Kingdom, cases dropped 45%. In the United States, they were down 32%. In Israel, down 17%. Israel is quite interesting because we've seen a large-scale vaccination program in that country, one of the biggest in the world, in fact. But then this is really encouraging. South Africa down 57% in that particular period. So you could say January was a very good month for this country. The level 3 lockdown restrictions coming into effect, certainly giving us some support in fighting the pandemic. Let's focus on December, and it's a very different picture. We were an island of red in a sea of blue. Red on this map, by the way, signifies that cases were climbing. And take a look at that. On the 28th of December, when you look at the bi-weekly change, 91% up in terms of COVID cases in South Africa. So they had almost doubled over that particular period. So as you said, everyone wanted to put 2020 behind them. We can't really do that, but some new hope in 2021.
I want to focus on the so-called vaccine effect. How long will it take before we see a clear and obvious effect on the death toll?
Great question, Nandi. And to get the answer, we're going to take a look at the UK, because the UK is one of those countries that has been rolling out its vaccine for almost 2 months now. V-Day, or the day that they started their vaccine program, was the 8th of December. On that day, they had just under 600 deaths in the United Kingdom. You might expect that suddenly this graph would decline and drop, but it doesn't quite work that way. In fact, on the 20th of January, we had more than 1,800 COVID-19 deaths. And then just the other day, the 3rd of February, we were still looking at 1,300 deaths in the UK. The experts saying that you need a critical mass of people who've been vaccinated before you actually make a real dent in terms of the death toll. So we can expect something similar in South Africa. We're going to need millions of people to be vaccinated before those death toll numbers actually start to decline. But there is hope. If we focus again on the UK example, the experts actually say that the 15th of February is a very important day for them. On that day, they are hoping to have vaccinated everyone over the age of 70 years old. So we know that the over 70s are particularly vulnerable when it comes to COVID-19. So once they've all taken the vaccine, we've got about 2 to 3 weeks for the vaccine to take effect inside their bodies and give them their protection. And they say, guys, by the middle of March, they will reach a tipping point in terms of the number of deaths. So perhaps that gives us some clues when it comes to South Africa. Once we get the elderly vaccinated, once we get people with comorbidities vaccinated, a little bit of time, and then we should reach some sort of tipping point.
Thank you very much, Michael Marillier. It's quite an important point that he brings up, especially focusing on the UK. And you said this earlier this morning, that just because we have the vaccine, it doesn't mean that we're going to start seeing those numbers drop immediately.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean it's not a ticket to be badly behaved. So you have to continue to just do what it is you're supposed to do.